This is the Happy Jacks RPG podcast, a roundtable discussion that's a mix of friendship, humor, unbridled enthusiasm, and tabletop RPG topics sent in from around the world. Just for another roll. Hello, and welcome to Season 36, Episode 12 of the Happy Jacks RPG podcast. My name is Kimmy.
My name is Adam.
And my name is Bill.
In today's episode, Ed from Minnesota, now in Florida, asks us about our first experience, how a first experience forms a lasting opinion of a system. Clara, yes, our Clara, asks how extroverted players can support introverted players. And from the archive 2022, Weaselcreature asks about playing RPG IPs like Traveler's Setting and Eberron versus pop culture IPs like Marvel and Star Wars. If you'd like to contribute a question or topic to the show, you can email us at happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. That's happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. Or you can leave a message for us in the mailbag channel in the Discord, which is happyjacks.org/discord. All right, announcements. Thank you if you're a Patreon, voting in the little poll. If you did, if you didn't, you should have. So we're updating slowly. Very soon, I'll start getting time to actually update the access to all the stuff in the different tiers and actually updating the description of the tiers. We're also kind of testing out. I posted a little story about my Thanksgiving that's 4 minutes long as our first test of extra content to a separate RSS feed through the Patreon.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to hear an embarrassing story about my stepmother-in-law and mom almost ruining a turkey, go check out that short little story. And then we dropped actually your episode of Nerding Out for the Deep Space Nine with Riley on there too. So that episode of Nerding Out is posted twice. Once there's the link to the YouTube video, and then the other one is a new drop of it on the RSS feed. So see which one people like more. So it's a test. You don't have to watch both. It's the same. Yeah. But pick the one that you like.
Yeah.
And hopefully if you're a Patreon and you are actually subscribed to their RSS feed, which you can do using the directions I put somewhere because I don't know how to do it, then it'll just don't up in your player or something. Supposedly it shows up on Apple or YouTube or I don't know, something. So
I have no idea either. So
yeah. If you want to see the embarrassing Thanksgiving stories and all that stuff, you can go to happyjacks.org/Patreon. We're altering it so all the rewards are at all the different levels. So there's no tiered prizes anymore. Whatever you give us is great, and you get all the stuff.
Nice.
All right. Indie Designer of the Month. Our indie designer for this month is Ross Payton, him from Roleplaying Public Radio. You can find his work by searching for Slaying Design on DriveThruRPG or by supporting him on patreon.com/rppr. Today's product might have been made almost exactly for me. Bill, I'm going to ask you to mute your mic when you're typing a little bit. It's very, very loud. It's a great mic. You can tell you have got the mechanical cool keyboard. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, which absolutely sucks for streaming. But normally I have my mic elevated and I'm on my blue mic, which is on the table right next to my keyboard. So I forgot. I apologize.
It's fine. It's okay. We've done worse. And I made more mistakes just in the intro, so it's fine. Okay, so this particular product I think was made specifically for me. So today's product is for his game-based raiders. It's a new hero/villain called Sparkles the Unicorn. So Sparkles is a legend among base raiders, both heroic and villainous. An immortal unicorn able to heal the sick, imbue others with magical powers, and run faster than a speeding car. Sparkles has used his abilities to spread chaos across the world. He has saved the lives of children and given madmen superhuman abilities just to see what they can do. Is he a hero or a villain? No one knows, but you can find out. Decide what Sparkles will be for your campaign. And it comes with, when you buy the whole little Sparkles, the unicorn pack, The heroic sparkles is playable and easy to use as a new player character. But you can also use it. Oh yeah, stats for sparkles as a hero and a villain. Decide what sparkles will be for your campaign. It also comes with the heroic sparkles as a playable character, easy to use for a player. A new magic power source, Blessings of the Unicorn. Sparkles can give people permanent superpowers. That's amazing. Unicorn Forge artifacts can be used by villains and ruthless base raiders. And an adventure seed, The Hunt for the Wild Horn. And you can get all of this on DriveThruRPG for $2.99, as well as a lot of other great stuff to supplement your base raiders game if you look around. There was also one that I caught my eye that was like about cosplayers who get powers.
Oh,
I was
nice.
sitting there staring at both, like, which one?
Oh, no.
Which one am I going to talk about? And then Sparkles of a Unicorn.
Yeah. But both cosplayers getting
Very,
superpowers
very.
is great too.
Yeah.
And Ross was on the advice show with us a couple of weeks ago.
He was,
so
yeah.
So tune in. Very cool guy. Had lots of fun stuff to say. Yeah.
Yeah, super great. And this is the last indie designer announcement for November. And so next month in December, we will have a new indie designer.
Yay.
Very exciting. All right. Mailbag number 1.
Would you like me to read this one?
Sure. Or why don't you do the next one? I want to hear you do Clara.
Oh.
So, Bill, do you mind reading the first one?
Sure, no problem. I'll read the first one. Hello, Jackers, Jillers, and all. Ed from Minnesota, now in Florida here, with a question. After conversing with other members of the community, it seems to me that the first experience we all have with the game defines what it is and how it works for us, for better or worse. As an example, I played in a game of Fate a long time ago with people that knew and abused the system. Their keywords allowed them advantages on almost every action, and the game wasn't that much fun for me. I am very careful of Fate to this day, despite all of the great games I have listened to of it online. On the flip side, I have a soft spot for the Palladium systems, despite it being what it is. So that brings me to my question. What do you think is your favorite game and why? Is it your first experience with it that colors it, or something else? And what games do you like least, and why? Based in this, do you think it's important to ensure a game is fun or accurate when someone has a first experience with the system? Should we clarify experience with the system with new players to accommodate this? And what else do you want to talk about on the topic? I'm sure you've said a lot, but I open this moment to further reflection. I know that I'm thinking about ensuring people know that if I'm going to run a modified game moving forward. I hope everyone is doing well and look forward to hearing your comments. Ed from Mun, now in Fla. P.S. I am super impressed by everyone reporting their games at cons. The best way to keep our game free and young is to bring in new people. I am doing 7 different games in 3 days at the end of October.
Whoa,
this
Lord.
is my triathlon, and I cheer on those doing their own version. Skål!
Amazing.
7 games in 3 days. Okay, buddy. Oh, Ed, you don't have to. You don't have to. It's okay.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
We had those days.
Yeah.
I'm too old now, but yeah, good for you.
I would play in 7 different games in 3 days at a con. I would not run 7 different games in 3 days.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a big point.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're running like multiples of the same game,
Yeah.
like the same scenario, like for different tables and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. Okay, so on this topic, I would like to bring up my own personal experience with GURPS. 'Cause I know how this channel is on GURPS.
I did it.
Yeah. So my very first time playing GURPS was after playing a lot of D&D and White Wolf with like very cool, fun people who were very much into the story, and then I got to a GURPS game, and basically, like, I found on an online forum. This is when I was living in Columbus, and I found a forum where it was an all-gay group of role players, and I thought, well, this will be really nice because most of the people I play with are all straight, and like I don't haven't typically usually had a lot of gay friends, and so I was like, well, I'll go meet some gay guys, and play some role playing games. And God bless them, they were really sweet people, but they were so boring. And the way they
Aw.
played GURPS was so boring. I was, I, and I just really like, I just had a very lackluster experience, and I just did not feel the system. I did not, like, I just was not feeling the vibe of the group. It's a very like it was very dungeon crawly. Basically, they were very much like, we are just playing a mechanical game,
Yeah.
which is a totally fine thing to do, but not what I like about role playing games. And so to me, that forever colored my experience with GURPS. And then when I met up with Happy Jacks, and so many of you talked about great experiences with GURPS, I'm like, we didn't play the same game, did we? And I've still never played GURPS again to this day.
Aw.
And I kind of always wanted to like, okay, Stu, run a GURPS game for me and show me why it's not terrible. but never got around to that. But yeah, I think it's true. I think your first experience with the game does really color your future experience. I will say the one thing I'd like to sort of flip on its head here is, instead of trying to think so much about the responsibility of game masters and more experienced people to bring people into a system that they love, I think the responsibility really lies on those of us as players who have had experiences with the game that maybe wasn't great, to stay open-minded and give it another try with a different group of people. It could be an entirely different experience. And so I kind of like flipping that perspective a little bit and say, like if you've had those experiences, give it another shot. You might be surprised. So yeah, that's my thought on it.
Yeah, for me, definitely, I think that early exposure is what sets the tone, right? It's like you only get one chance to make a good first impression, energy. And I think I'm lucky that in many cases I had really good first experiences with systems. And I found that when I didn't have good experiences that then colored my thoughts on a system, it's when it's a lot like what Ed was saying around Fate. When people are so immersed in the system mechanics and then optimize those and take advantage of them. Right? You're at a table of min-maxers, and that's what the whole thing is about. Like, after my experience doing a Pathfinder, I guess it wasn't Pathfinder, but I did an organized play, and it was terrible. And I was like, I will never do an organized play again. And that's not a game system specifically, but that is definitely a system of play, right? And it kind of doesn't matter to me even what the underlying system would be, whether it would be Pathfinder or Starfinder or D&D or whatever. It's like, I'm just like, I don't want to do organized play because it left such a bad taste in my mouth. I'm really fortunate. In terms of like rolling your own characters, I had great experience with the Champions and GURPS. And I think because Champions, it was the genre, and I loved superheroes, and I got to play when it was very early, like first edition, and the rules were nowhere near as thick of an encyclopedic tome as they are now, which it still was that core, right? I'm buying points and I'm building a character. The thing I love about GURPS and about Champions in concept is that you're kind of getting a chance to make the thing you have in your head. Like, you're building it. You're not just following a set number of things, and you're trying to figure out how to maybe make this character different than someone else's this character. You can really craft something unique. On the flip side, everyone knows I am a complete traveler simp. And for me, that is all about the randomization. And I fell in love with the game, within the game, of character generation. from the beginning. I've been playing Traveller as long as I've been playing D&D. They came out the same year. Traveller is just as old as D&D is, and is still around. And you know, to the point where I've done conversions of IPs to Traveller. I've written Traveller stuff. I've run Traveller campaigns, both on and off air. I love creating D66 tables. The thing I really love about it is its design allows you, especially as a game master, to create connections between characters that then can either fold into or shape your campaign, however long that's going to be. And I really love that about the system. And I like the 2d6 combat stuff. Like, I like the underlying mechanics. But I think it's a system that really sets you up for a lot of role-playing success, right? Which not all game systems do. And since I love to role play, and one last thing I'll say is, Adam, when you're talking about like GURPS, I don't think I played the same game you guys played, right? A lot of times when I see people talk about D&D, I'm like, I don't think we play the same D&D, because my table has got a ton of role playing.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We'll go through 2-hour sessions where dice don't even hit the table because we're all RPing, right? And if any dice hit the table, it's in support of the role playing. So it's really funny. I think a lot of it is who you play with too, right? What they bring to the table, how they approach the rules, and how they bring you into that game system. So I do agree that there's just like so much of how you feel about a game system is based on your first contact.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think there's we're a little spoiled, or at least I'm a little spoiled. Like, I definitely had a very similar experience to Fate that Ed had. Like, I played it. I never really liked any of the Fate games I was in. Some of them I would do, okay, a bunch of people really liked it at the time, and they were like, oh, we're playing Fate. I'm like, okay. I just felt it like, it was way too wiggly. Like, they said it's too easy to create, like tags or keywords that are super powerful that you can like kind of word in a way to do every single situation. And it was just like always kind of like, well, can I use that? Of course you can use it. That's too much. There was just too much yesing. Like, I like yes and, but I don't want that much yes and. I sometimes say no to me. I need some boundaries.
Yeah.
And I know them about myself. So that's always been one that I kind of bounced off of. And at this point, I own hundreds of TTRPGs.
Yeah.
Hundreds, especially if I start counting my PDFs. Like, so many. I will never play them all. I was like scrolling through, like, I did an update for Starscape on Kickstarter, so I just like, I've literally backed over 120 RPG products just on Kickstarter, and that's not even the ones that I've bought other places or in game stores. Like, I have literally hundreds and hundreds of games. Why, like you've got one shot with me. Like, I'm a picky bitch. I've got amazing friends to play with. If I play your system and it's like meh, I have too many other options.
Yeah.
It's like a restaurant in like New York or Los Angeles or something. It's like, okay, sure, I'll try your restaurant. Oh, this was fine.
Yeah.
But like, there's like 7 other great restaurants like within like walking distance, probably. Maybe not in LA, but in New York, definitely. So it's like, why would I? Unless someone really like fights for it, or like, hey, I'll run it for you. We'll do it right this time. Like, I don't have I don't have enough minutes in my life, guys. Like, I just don't have enough minutes in my life to like spend giving a bad RPG another try.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that is something, like, we do have a lot of privilege, with our Happy Jacks group. Like, we have so many good people to play with, and somebody will run almost anything. And so it does make us a little snobby about a game just being kind of meh.
Yeah, and games on demand at local cons. Like, most cons have some sort of games on demand contingent. They've got shirts you can buy. You can go to the games on demand website and find all the things, because they have like each con kind of has their own presence of that now, and they're sort of, it's not really an organization, but it's kind of an organization. It's very, very loose organization. It's
a movement.
Yeah, it's a movement. And then we've also got like Story Games LA and like all these local groups who, outside of just being part of Happy Ducks, like have all these interests in trying all these new games. Yeah. So we are very lucky. And I think there's a lot more options out there for people than they realize a lot of times, especially with gaming online. There's tons of Discords like dedicated just to trying new, cool, weird indie games.
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people have more options than they used to. So I feel like across the board, most of us are able to be more picky.
Yeah.
Refined with our taste, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, and we get a lot of mail to the show about like people in smaller locations or RP deserts. I don't know. But people saying like, well, I really want to try a new system, but the 5 people I play with are the only other people in our metro area that play role-playing games. And they all like this system and I want to try something new. We get a lot of mail like that. And it's like, oh yeah, we don't have that problem here. And so I always feel a little bad. Like, I don't know how to solve that for you, but
it's amazing how many fewer emails of that ilk we get, or messages now. We don't just get emails now since COVID. Like, it felt like at the beginning of COVID, everyone's like, none of us are playing any games.
Yeah.
And then we all discovered Zoom or whatever.
Yeah.
And like all these things started popping up to facilitate these things. And it's really amazing. Like, we very rarely, like, we get the, how do I convince my group to play this game I really want to play?
Yeah.
But we very rarely get, like, I can't find anybody to play with at all game.
Yeah,
or,
that
like,
has
like messages. Yeah.
So I would say that if you are trying to convince your regular group to try something new, right? An interesting trick I ran into on a Discord, which was great. This conversation came up, and someone said, find a great actual play, especially if it's a one shot, but or a small or short series. Find a great actual play of that system and have them watch it. Oh. Right, especially if it's people that like really know the system well, or like have a great role playing energy, or you kind of tailor it to the group you have, and then you can say, oh, do you want to check out like this system? Oh, you should like watch Heroes Among Us or whatever it is, right? Like, give them your favorite AP in a setting, and then even if you say like, oh, look, just watch like the first 2 episodes if it's a really long one, or you kind of curate for them, because then they're not coming into it completely cold.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, oh, that seemed really cool. Like, what a great energy for that system. That was really neat. The other thing I'll say is it is so much easier to find games if you want to try something new. There are people all over the internet, everywhere, that are like, hey, I want to run this game. Right? It's like, I want to see what a new system is like. Just like, like somebody's like, hey, I'm running this thing, and if anyone wants to do a one-shot session, I'm doing it at this time. It's kind of like going to an open gaming thing. I did PAX Unplugged this just a couple weeks ago, and it is almost, even for somebody, for me, who last week, however long ago it was, time just explodes around the holidays. Last weekend. And even for someone who's been to a lot of cons like me, and as we all know is fairly extroverted, it was intimidating how many tables there were of people just playing games, board games and card games and TTRPGs and everything. But boy, it was really easy just to go and say, I wonder if I could find somebody playing this game. Yep, there it was. And they're all just super happy to have you sit in, and do something. So I think the Discord is a fantastic tool for that. Like, finding, hopefully through a referral of a Discord server to go to, but then finding people to play those games with, you can definitely make it happen if you're interested.
Yeah. I think, the actual play idea is good. I mean, I'm gonna admit, like, I don't really watch actual plays. I don't like them, but I feel like I would have gotten into TTRPGs sooner if someone could have sent me one back so long ago when I started playing RPGs. We're established, not old. Thank you, Rose. That's the verbiage we're using. Established.
Perfect.
We're established. But I think it would have made me less nervous about jumping into it if I could watch and see, oh, this is how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't pick up on all the rules or really understand like everything that was happening with it, like, it would just make it a little less intimidating. Just take like away one layer of mystery from it.
Yeah.
And I think that can be very, very useful. I wouldn't do that as like an instructional tool. Like, hey, watch this and learn everything about how to play the game. Make sure you learn all the mechanics. Like, that would be terrifying. But like, hey, this is what a TTRPG is, or here's how like this specific game runs. This is kind of the vibe. Like, give it a watch and see.
Yeah, just kind of slight tangent, but still on the topic. So Joey and I were talking about Critical Role the other day. Yeah, because I started watching The Mighty Nine, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. And I was telling Joey about it, and he was like, yeah, but isn't it Critical Role adjacent? I'm like, well, it's actually, it is Critical Role. Like, and we were talking about how like both of us had that experience of like, we felt just a little put off by Critical Role because it's so polished and mainstream, you know, like it's that's a bad thing. And, you know, but the reason I bring that up now is because it kind of like what you were talking about watching actual plays is like some of the actual plays are real, like polished, edited performances. And those are going to be very different than ones like what we do, which is very unpolished.
Established.
We are established. Yay, Hawkmere. Hi, Jim. Thanks for following. Hey. So anyway, like, so some actual plays are different, and every channel is going to have its different purpose and its different, focus. And like ours is very much like, hey, we're friends playing together, and here's the raw, fairly unedited version, and you can just kind of like see how we play it. Whereas Critical Role and those are like, they're very like, hey, we've put together an entertaining RPG format story for you. And like, that's totally legit. Absolutely. But it's not what your table is going to be like. So just, find
something that mirrors your vibe.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you want to be kind of selective in what you show people as a how to play thing, or but yeah.
It's really funny, like with Critical Role. So we started watching Mighty Nine as well.
Yeah.
Elspeth did, and she does not. She plays a ton. Doesn't watch APs, and we watched the first 2 episodes. She's like, "Are these the characters I'm supposed to care about?" Because there's a lot of assuming you know what's going on.
Oh
right?
Yeah,
and apparently they did a bunch when they wrote the series for Netflix. They had to write a bunch of stuff that was never in the original show to create more tangible backstory for the characters, because it's it's there in their backstory, and it kind of came out, but they have to we have to do this in a certain pace and order so people know who the hell these characters are. Right?
Yeah.
If they never watched the show. But it was really funny because she was like, I don't know. Do I care about that? And then at one point she's like, are these the people that like played the thing? It was just super unclear. And I was like, yeah, that's really interesting, because I never watched that season. So it's all new story to me as well. I know some of the stuff because I've played my long form Wednesday campaign is in Exandria, so I know a bunch of stuff about Exandria, but there was stuff I'm like going, yep, I don't know either, babe. I think I recognize that voice, so I know that's one of the I know that's Travis, right? That kind of thing, but that's about it.
Yeah. It's funny, like, or so adjacent to it, and like, I'm like, oh, that's my friend. I know that person, and, but also, like, I have no idea what's going on, but also, like, I know that character, like, very well, because I mean, like, there's this character, Molly Mock, who is the tiefling, and it's,
I'm gonna nod, like I know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's Taliesin Jaffe's character. And it's, and he's just ubiquitous. Like, people love this character. Is probably, I would say, probably the most well-known and beloved character in all of Critical Role stuff. And, so it's, But anyway,
I'm just scarred because like Tellison scared the shit out of me when I was like a 17-year-old working at fair.
No,
Every time
see, we're way too inside baseball on some of this stuff, right?
No,
Where it's
right?
Like,
Yeah.
oh, like I love Towson, But then
Yeah.
it's like your comment can be like, oh wow, he scared the hell out of me when I was 17.
I mean,
at fair.
it's fine, but like we were there and
Yeah.
like. And he just like we were sitting at the reef and he was starting to tell me like about like TMJ, like we were both talking about how our jaws clicked. I don't know why. That was what we were talking about between shows. And he like was like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to someday get facial surgery and your face is gonna look totally different. And I'm like this pretty little 17-year-old who's like all in my pretty like Mayflower stuff, and I'm like, my face is gonna be all weird. It's like, what's gonna happen to my face? And I don't know why I was listening to Tellison like he was an authority on this. That's how I met Tellison.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I guess back to the point I was trying to make is like there is a lot out there, and so like I do think it's really great advice that you gave, Bill. Is like go watch some actual plays if you want to. And I would say, like, if you've had a bad experience with the system and you've just developed this sort of like ongoing antipathy for the system, like I have with GURPS, then I was waiting for the
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Then like go watch an actual play of people doing that system and having fun. That might be a really good way to sort of like reframe your mind so you can give it another chance.
Yeah. I think also for new players, like easing them into it. It's like teaching someone how to swim. Like, hopefully you don't just throw them in because that's terrible. Don't do that. Like, okay, like here's the first step going into the pool. Like, here is what a TTRPG is. Here's some dice. And then like, here's a little cheat sheet of some of the rules. These are all you need to know.
Oh yeah.
And tell me what you want to do and I'll tell you what to roll and how it works. Like holding their hands, giving them the little floaty wings. Actually, don't do that. Give them actual life jackets. Anything inflatable can be deflated and is not safe. Says the ex-lifeguard. But yeah, like making it as easy and low pressure as possible is really, really important.
Yeah.
Let them do the fun creative things and just support the mechanics as much as possible so that they have as low a barrier to entry as you can make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's definitely, I think, some of my first bad experience. And I think that's one of the reasons I have such fond memories of GURPS is because one of my first the first time I played GURPS was with Mook.
Oh, right. Yes.
And Mook is just like...
legendary.
Yeah, legendary. And before, he passed, like, he literally was like the go-to about everything GURPS. And like, Bill, you and I were in that AP with him. And it was amazing. Like, he could just make the mechanics disappear the way he played.
Elspeth cares nothing for mechanics. She's all about story and character. And the fact that she loved playing in that GURPS campaign.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a crunchy system. And yeah, Mook just like magically, just tell me what you want to do. I'll tell you what to do. I'll tell you what to roll.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so you didn't have to worry about that. You just knew what your character could kind of do in general and your vibe, and you could just like role play and be that character. And it was very much all the mechanics felt under the hood unless you wanted to get under there. Like, he just made it happen, and was such a beautiful experience.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing I can, like, if you want to have a new player have a great first experience, take as much of the pressure off them as you can and just facilitate like a fun experience, even if you don't do everything perfectly. Like, that shouldn't be your biggest goal when you're trying to get someone to enjoy themselves, especially a first-time person, because it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
It's a scary, like, hey, sit down at this table for 4 hours with all of us. We're gonna be weird.
Yeah.
Like, you might have a story, but it's gonna get fucked up because the dice will not be your friend. Like, it's just a weird experience. Like, it's just indescribable. So it's like, the less pressure you can put on a person, the more you can just take, hey, have a good time. What would you like to do? Here, you do that.
Yeah,
like, just make it like low pressure and fun. And I think that is the key to a good experience. And I absolutely think that TTRPGs in general lose a lot of people who have a bad first experience with TTRPGs. And then systems also lose like return customers or return players by bad first experiences within that system as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah.
So Ed, for there's one question that you ask in here. Do you think it is important to ensure a game is fun or accurate when someone has a first experience with the system? I would say fun, yes. Accurate, no.
Yeah.
Don't worry so much about giving them an accurate understanding of how the rules work in this game. The rules are there to make sure that you can have fun.
Yeah.
And so just let them have fun playing in that system. And if you get it wrong or you fudge things to make sure it's fun for everybody, like, just do that. And then you can talk about it afterwards. Be like, oh, actually, we totally fucked up the rules on this. Here's what should have happened, but it was just too cool when you wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And let them know, like, don't be intimidated by the rules.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, rules can so easily get in the way when you're gaming. And so, like, there's that balance you have to have of stick enough to the rules that people don't feel like they're getting outclassed or like one person's getting away with everything because they think about it and another person can't do anything because they're trying because they've made different choices in a character or a mechanic or whatever.
Or like my first Fate experience where I'm like, are there rules? I don't.
Yeah.
We've been playing for like 2 hours and I don't think there are rules.
Yeah.
I think we're all just doing whatever. Like, you don't want that.
Right. Yeah. So, but focus on just making sure they have fun. And if you break the rules, let everybody know why you're breaking the rules and that you are breaking the rules. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Mailbag 2.
Okay. I don't know if I can do a Clara impersonation. You
don't have to do it. I was being teasing a little bit.
I need to talk really fast.
Maybe not. Maybe not the best choice for podcasting.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm just going to read this normal.
Okay.
Here's another one, and it's going to be less wordy. Okay. It's already not Clara. I love you, Clara. I want to talk about how more extroverted players can support introverted ones. If you're the raise your hand in class more than everyone else kid, how do we be supportive players at the table when there are people less quick? Kimmy, I leave that to you to make that look like a letter.
I refuse.
Clara. I know we should have had Clara read the Clara email. That would have been great.
She was on last week. No, it's so much more fun to joke about her when she's not here.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, because then they can hear us joking about them and they can't respond. So they have to just take it.
I feel like Bill should start with this one because Bill, I think you're the most extroverted of us.
Yeah. I can't deny it. But so I think the big thing is when you're at a table as a player and you're an extrovert, be conscious of your extrovertedness, and then when there is someone else at the table who isn't that way, like don't even necessarily put the spotlight on them, right? Like get them in the spotlight. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. Like, engage them in a scene. Because if you're an extrovert, you're used to blurting in and saying stuff and just being that way. And it's important, one, to recognize that in yourself so you're just not constantly scene stealing. And then, two, use it for good. Right? So if there's someone who's an introvert at the table, bring them into the scene. Get them to help you plan something. Have them be the person that goes shopping with you. Like, whatever it is in your game. Like, I need someone to watch my back while we break into this safe. Like, you need to come and help me out. Right? And then that puts them in a position for then the GM to build something more inclusive. Right? If I'm the GM and I have a player at the table, and I'm a very extroverted GM as well, I try to really move the spotlight around, and I will try to find something that is important to their character, but not necessarily like puts them center stage, right? Like they can move their personal story along in a more quiet moment, or by having them need to get help from an NPC or another player at the table that they're really good friends with, right? That maybe the person that brought them into the game or something. So I think it's a lot of helping create that safe space for them to then be okay with actually stepping into the light as much as they want to. That's what I do, and try my best not to run over everybody and say stupid shit all the time. I don't succeed, but I try super hard.
And I think just like trying to be mindful is a huge first step. Like that is the biggest thing. And we all fail sometimes, but just being aware of your own nature and trying to make space is so key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I can be very assertive as a player, way more than I can in an actual social situation. So I kind of walk a middle line between my natural introversion and my trained extroversion. But yeah, when I see people at the table who are being very introverted and not really contributing a whole lot, I just try to make sure, like you said, Bill, like make sure they're along for the scene. I need a buddy. I'm grabbing you. Come up with a reason. Make it up. Like it's fine. It's like just be what's her name with Elphaba? Glinda. Be Glinda with Elphaba. Just like she may not want a makeover, but she could use one, and it's going to be fun for you. So just bring her along. And I just like what I think happens a lot is people who are very introverted, especially at gaming tables, I think there's a belief or there's a suspicion that nobody really wants them around. Like they're just being humored by being allowed to be at the table. Because I felt like that a lot. Like, oh, everybody doesn't want me here. They're just letting me be here because I was available, So I think whenever somebody just engages an introvert's character, even if it's just like ask their opinion on the plan, or just doing something to make sure they understand they're wanted here.
Yeah.
If you want to talk, we want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's really important that the GM makes space too, and make sure that the spotlight is hitting everyone on the table the same amount.
Yeah.
It is absolutely great for players to make that space, but it's on the GM to make sure it happens.
Yeah.
It's harder for players sometimes to track who is having more like screen time, I guess, or spotlight time. But the GM really needs, like, that's one of their biggest responsibilities is that everyone's getting equal amounts of impact on the story. So sometimes that means you have to force it more often. And I think as the GM, like you were talking about how extroverts can help, but the GM, I'm an extrovert and a GM, so I'm counting it. It's counting.
That's right.
As good advice. But I've had a lot of games where there were more introverted people at the table, or they have a more introverted character. And so then it's like, it's up to you to find, okay, what are you doing right now? How do you feel about this? Like, even if it's not necessarily them taking an action, because sometimes they are more hesitant to do active things like that. How are you feeling? Like, because they're going to have feelings, even if they're not big about expressing or taking actions, both characters and introverted people. So just making sure that their input, whether it's like actual like moves they do or roles they're taking, or their emotional input is affecting the story in different ways.
And I know I kind of like suggested everybody like force your introverts to be involved, but that's for the ones that want it, and check in with introverted players, because some of them, they are having the time of their life just watching most of it happen. It did a masks game online that Rose ran for us, and it was so much fun. And Rose is a fantastic GM, especially with masks. We were having a great time. One of our players was just like very quiet and very seldom like inserted himself into the scene, would occasionally speak up and say something, and we would give opportunities. I think a lot of us were aware, like, hey, you're not as talkative as the rest of us are, and we would try to like bring him in, and at one point we kind of had a conversation about all this, and with him, and he's like, oh my God, I am having the best time ever.
Aww.
And we're like, you only say like 2 sentences a game. We're and the rest of us are like real obnoxious.
What?
Like, yeah, we just wanted to make sure you're okay. He's like, yeah, I'm great. Like, so, and it turned like his enjoyment of the game was just being present and just kind of watching a lot of the other things unfold, and then just every once in a while throwing in a little important gem or a little interesting statement, and he was totally fine.
Yeah.
And so I think you got to kind of allow for that possibility too. And
I think that's really
and
important.
there's a real distinction between that got mentioned here between introverted players and introverted characters, right? So we all know Tyler, and Tyler's in my home game, and Tyler is not an introvert when he's at the table, right? But in our last like really long Eberron campaign that we just finished a couple months ago, his character definitely like was not front and center. And there was times where I checked in with him, like, going, "Hey, are you doing okay? Are you okay?" Because I know him well enough where it's like, he just really, Tark's not really like bringing it all the time. And he says, "No, that's just like that's the character, right? When he says stuff, it's when he feels it's really important, and he's just happy to be along for the ride." And I was like, "Okay, that's good. Okay, great, right?" And that really helped with then knowing when to set him up for certain scenes, because I could tell that, like, I'm going to let him get in a certain space. Now, we just started another campaign, also in Eberron, that we're, like, 4 sessions into, and this character is nothing like that. He's playing a wand slinger, and he, like, first session, when they're all kind of introducing himself, he introduces himself, and he said, and so he's like, "Oh, why are you going out to the frontier?" And he's like, "Look, everyone dies 2 deaths. The first time, when your body fails. The second time, when people don't talk about you anymore. I'm never going to die that second death." And I'm like, oh my God, what a great character. Because he's up for everything, right?
Yeah.
His whole goal is, I'm going to become a fucking legend, right? That's his goal. And so now it's just like the complete opposite, right? He's up for everything. And he's front and center.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely the distinction of character. So it is good to check in to see, is it you? Are you getting what you want? Is it your character? And that changes, and I think that is a big thing that is on the GM, right? To make sure that players are getting as much spotlight for their characters as they want/need.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'll just reiterate my like constant mantra about how to my most important advice about being a good player: learn to enjoy being out of the spotlight. When you're not in the spotlight, and this is especially hard for you extroverts, when you're not in the spotlight, don't go looking through the book about what you're going to take at your next advance or things like that. Like, stop, listen to the story. Listen to the conversation that's happening between the other people at the table and the other NPCs, and like, let yourself be interested in it, and you will find that goes a long way towards letting other people know, like, their contribution is welcome and enjoyed. So,
As an introvert, like, I'm an interesting mix, because like if I feel confident or if it's some sort of performance, I'm much more of an extrovert. When it comes to like being myself, I'm a very introverted person. Like, if I have to go, like, that's one of the reasons I loved going to cons and cosplay so much, I think, because I loved the idea of a convention. Going as myself and talking to strangers is the most terrifying thing I could possibly think of. Dressing as Wonder Woman is much less terrifying. I don't know why, but people interact with you in a different way. It's more like you're a Disney character.
Yeah.
And they come up to you and you're like kind of Wonder Woman to them. So it's like there's like a layer of character protection, like at the RPG table, I think.
Yeah.
It's something I've only kind of realized since I've stopped cosplaying after COVID, and I've been like, I have to go to a con and be me.
Ew.
That's terrible. I don't like that. I went to Gen Con and spent like a ridiculous amount of time like walking around, like listening to audiobooks in my headphones because I was like, I don't have to talk to people this way. This is nice. I like this. I get to see all the things. And then people try to talk to me like, oh no, hi, oh, 1 second. Okay. Hello. I am Kimmy. Hi. Very cool.
Regular human woman.
Yes. Normal person and TTRPG maker / content create. Hi. Do I know you? Do we talk on Blue Sky? I don't know who you are. So I have this weird like balance, but a lot of times I do read at the table and pay attention to how engaged or bored people tend to be. And so if I am clocking like while I'm role playing that someone else is doing something else, that gets to me really fast.
Yeah.
And I had this problem a little bit in our Road to Nowhere game that just wrapped. There was a couple times where my character by herself had really emotional scenes. And I was always like, afterwards, like I had to like the first time they were like, stop apologizing, because like afterwards I'm so sorry if I took up too much time, like I feel like maybe I'm so sorry, I didn't want to be selfish about that. And they were like, those were fantastic, stop talking, stop apologizing for playing the game great, you're doing great, stop it. And Kai, bless him, like was just like, you're doing great, stop it, stop apologizing, stop questioning yourself, you're great, it was an amazing scene. Because that body language can really affect people who are very hyper aware of not taking too much spotlight time. Now I am also very understanding of people like me also who have like ADHD and have things they have to be doing. So just like, and that's a great thing to talk about in session 0. Like, hey, I'm going to be sitting here knitting. It's not because I think you're boring. It's because it helps me focus on what you're doing. Even though I'm not looking at you, I actually am better able to pay attention this way. So just being super clear about stuff like that at the beginning so that people recognize that is what's happening.
Elspeth has to keep her hands busy when it's like it just does, and she knits a lot. The thing that was actually when she was playing Volleyball, she was playing a bard, is she would actually, with the sound off, with her mic muted, sometimes she'd leave it on, but she would just play guitar.
That's cool.
So it was like super in character too, right?
So cool.
And so she's like, they're meeting or they're talking at a bar or something, and she's just kind of noodling, and she was actually like writing songs. Oh, was a horribly talented woman. She's like writing songs in character and stuff, right? And I'm like, how is this your first bard you've ever played? Damn you.
I know, right?
Crazy. But I think that is a good thing too, right? Like that's a great comment, Kimmy. Like a great session 0 thing to check in with. Like, if you do it and you do it, like let the GM know, especially, right? But I'm gonna include that in all my GM stuff. Like, oh, hey, is there anything that you need to do for self-care or for helping like focus your attention or anything, right? Because I think as GMs we all suffer from that anxiety of like, is what I do good enough? Is it okay? Right? And if I'm there and somebody's like, just knitting away, if I don't know that that's a thing that like actually helps them focus and be in the present, that could be really damaging to my frail GM ego.
And so I have a player who is usually playing some sort of like solitaire type game on their phone, and at first I was like, oh no, they're bored. Oh no, and then I realized like, oh wait, no, they're not like trying to hide this or like there's not any disengagement. It's just like, oh yeah, that's right. I know this person is neurospicy, and it's pretty much all of my friends are, and it's like oh that's like me drawing at the table, like that's what I do is I just sit and sketch and draw on my character sheets or on my note sheets, and that's what I do to keep my hands occupied, and it's the same thing. But it's something like I don't really talk about ever. And I think that is a really good session 0 question. Like, let's talk about this.
Yeah, and just giving people a heads up that it's not a judgment or a reflection on them in any way. Yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, I think that will be really helpful in this upcoming Dune game that I'm going to run, because the nature of the stories, it's very likely they're going to be going off on their own on different things. And so there's going to be scenes where it's like, nope, all 4 players are just scattered to the winds.
Yeah.
And we're just going to have to go like, okay, this is a scene with one player character right now. And so that will be something important to manage. And so that's good advice.
You know,
Hey.
one last thing I'll say on this topic.
You should do a podcast. Sorry.
Established.
Yeah.
No. That's all right. It's the weird lag thing too. One thing that ties into this, that goes along with that actually is really interesting, because it's the way that they've. We were talking about Mighty Nine earlier. If you watch it, you'll see where they take like 2 characters and like have them together early in the story, right? Like Nott and Caleb are together from like the beginning of the storyline, and that could be a really interesting way, especially if you're like you were, and just what you were just talking about, Adam, made me think about it. Where if you're like, hey, we're going to start with like these 2 characters and do a session with them, like they have met, and you could pair like the introvert and the extrovert, right? And let them establish like a relationship without the context of having 4 or 5 or however many people are at your table all together, right? Let them form that bond with the character, and then have another session where it's like these 2, and then like people come together, right? In that way. It was kind of interesting. It's how we, now that I think about it, started our Exandria campaign on Severed Studios, where it was Orgoth, who's my character, and Wilvin, who was played by Ross. And we in session 0, we just kind of talked about stuff. We just kind of talked through what our initial meeting was, and how we met, and how we came to like come together and then go into Jigao, into this town. And then our GM Ron did the same thing with the other 2 characters, and then we kind of ended up at the same place, and that's how the 4 of us came together. But it was really interesting, because even just talking through it in a very RP, we're not rolling dice, we're just like role playing and kind of getting to know our characters and each other's characters, like our characters formed a real bond just from that, right? And that carried through a lot of the early campaign sessions, where like I always felt like, oh, I've got Orgoth can lean on Wilvin because he's like my surrogate dad, because we met down the road.
That's
and you
cool.
know, so that's a really maybe neat device to think of too. If you have like an additional session or 2 you can dedicate to that, right? To do that thing.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Before we move on to mailbag number 3, I have a question. Okay, so like the only thing I've ever watched of Critical Role stuff really is like the stuff Abria did for a little while. Do they all play multiple characters, or is it like why is it like, why are there 9 characters? Why is it the Mighty Nine?
No, my understanding, like I know, I'm gonna guess
that's in the trailer too, where like Jester says, "Where there might be 9," and someone's like, "Oh, there's only 7 of you," right?
Okay, that's kind of always been my question. I was like,
but my understanding is they don't play, like right now they've got like 13 PCs, and like they don't play all of them at the table every time. They sort of like move people, so just like 3 or 4 or 5 at a time.
So why is it not the Mighty 13?
Because it's not. The new campaign is not the same as the Mighty Nine.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
That makes sense. Okay, if they had 9 before,
so that one is
like
really
18.
specific, right? That's the name of the group, and it was the Mighty Nine, NEIN, by the way,
right?
Not the number.
Yeah.
Oh,
which was
then never mind.
A combination of this like kind of like it was part of it was about the dice rolls. I think they were rolling a lot of 9s. And so they started talking like, oh my god, all we do is roll 9s, 9, 9, 9s. And then Liam's character,
isn't that no
Caleb,
in German?
Yes, but his character, who's and I can't remember, like Liam had his character, I can't remember the race he is specifically, but he took on a German accent and would speak German
Oh, got it.
a lot
Okay.
to be the actual language of them. And when they would talk about
So
the
it's like
number,
an
what
inside
number,
joke.
9, I rolled 9.
okay.
So it became this like inside joke to be the mighty 9, right?
okay.
So yeah, but they typically tend to play a single character through the entirety of the campaign. Sometimes there will be an event like a character death. Or
I'm not really worried about it. If it's not at the number
happens,
9,
but
then I'm
yeah.
not super worried about it.
Yeah, it's not.
Why,
Okay. All
why
right,
the
I'm
number
backing right
9?
out. We're stretching my knowledge of Critical Role anyway, so I'm gonna back out while I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just if it's a different kind of 9, like
Yes.
then it's different. I was just like, there's are they like, it's a normal table. There's like 6 feet or not 7 people. Why is it 9?
Together, but there's 5 of us. We should be called 5 together.
Yeah, exactly. So it's sort of like my slow, like creaking little like hamster in my brain was like processing it like that. Okay. So
sorry, shout out to anybody else who knew the reference there. No. Back up, bitch. Robin's Egg Blue is my favorite color. Sorry.
Why am I Mr. Pink?
Sorry to derail us. I'm just super curious about like carrying the title. I was like 9, mighty 9. That seems like a very specific. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a different language. Awesome. I'm doing great with other languages. I'm very excellent at good languages. Others, yes. Okay. Mailbag number 3 from the archive, 2022. Slancha, Kimmy, and the Jackers. I have been catching up on the show, and back in December, something came up, and an important point was missed. As I am listening to the episodes backwards, it wasn't later addressed either, at least not to my knowledge. FYI from the archive, we've already answered these emails. We go back and do it again and maybe do it better, maybe do it worse. I don't know. The crew was talking about playing in existing settings and why for some settings it was preferred not to, but others it didn't seem so bad. And it was boiled down near the end where Stork said that he paraphrased that it's different playing in the Marvel universe. What's different playing in the Marvel universe versus the Traveler universe? RPG setting is very different from the comic settings, even more different than movie settings. In an RPG, yes, their characters are placed, there's a storied history, but then it stops. The story is made by those at the table. Eberron, Iron Kingdoms, Traveler, etc. all have settings designed to have stories continued by the characters. Yes, some of them do advance their setting timeline, so playing an entire timeline could have similar issues, but usually the game starts where their story ends. Playing in the Star Wars universe, well, the main story has been told. We know how it ends. So unless the GM is okay with total alteration of the story by Vader dying on Bespin, then you can't really have players meet the main characters. And then they'll have to be in the shadows of the already told story. Yes, this can be alleviated by playing in less than known timelines, after the Jedi, before New Hope, where some of these characters still exist, but there really isn't much of an active story to interfere with. Keeping rocking, Weaselcreature. P.S. Again, look twice for motorcycles. Always. Yeah, I think that I think it's a interesting. It's a difference in design.
Yeah.
TTRPG settings are made to be played in. So usually they create the sandbox with some very fancy toys in it and then let you go wild. Yeah. Where movies, TV shows, things like that are telling linear stories with beginnings, middles, and ends. And you can play around those things, but it's a little bit harder. It's not necessarily made to be played in the same way an RPG setting is designed to be. Yeah.
You're not writing a movie in order to encourage the fan fiction.
Yeah.
Whereas you are writing a TTRPG to encourage the fan fiction.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah. So, and I think I kind of feel the same way. That is kind of a distinction for me. Because I mostly when I do D&D, I play in the Forgotten Realms setting. Because I like that setting. I like the deities. I like the layout and the geography and the politics and all of that stuff. So I've just always enjoyed that, and I just go to that one much more than I go to like Eberron or Dark Sun or even Dragonlance, which was my first D&D spin-off love. But yeah, so but I feel very comfortable in there of saying, well, I want a new country right in the middle of these two countries because I want to play around in there, and I feel no problem like making that up because pretty much everybody at the table is going to be, oh, okay, you're changing the map, cool, got it, and then, but for like Star Wars or or something like that or like the Marvel universe, if I change something very fundamental to what's established, it's much more likely that my players are also going to know that setting, and they're going to want to know why did you change that, because we thought that was firm, whereas people, I don't think, question that when you change up a TTRPG setting. So.
I'm gonna push back about
being
that
someone
a little
who's
bit.
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
No, go ahead, Bill. I think we're gonna say the same
I
thing.
was gonna say,
go ahead.
Yeah, well, so being someone who's run a campaign in an established setting, Star Wars very specifically, right? It was an interesting challenge. I definitely chose to live in the spaces where the movies didn't cover. So I was post Order 66 when we ran Star Wars Traveler. I did a big, massive reskin for Traveler that started out with Elspeth saying like, "Hey, that could be really fun. You seem like you want to run Traveler, but maybe you're not sparking any ideas from it. What if you ran Star Wars but using Traveler?" Which then led me to take a year to write about 300-page reskin. So that was fun, and it's awesome. I think at least people have enjoyed doing it. But anyway, I chose to live in the space where there isn't really covered by the films. It's covered by a lot of extended content, right? So if you're super Star Wars nerdy like I am, there's a lot of stuff there to pull into, and I definitely tapped into known characters. I mean, the group interacts with the Emperor, but it also lived in its own space where I could really alter stuff, and I could take things that happened in the extended universe, and then allow the characters to participate that in as much as possible, even being the ones that caused the death of extended canon characters. Because they died, but it's a little mysterious sometimes how they died. So it's like, great, it was on this planet where they just got a Jedi out in an alleyway and shot the shit out of him because they were super OP with their stormtrooper and Imperial weapons. But that was really interesting because one of the problems I ran into is I got really trapped up in the everything has to be like canon perfect. And if you go back and listen to that, because that was here on Happy Jacks, one, it was early days, so I apologize for the recording quality because it was literally us around a table with a 2 microphone setup. And the first couple of sessions, especially, you can hear me struggling because I'm really trying to get everything perfect if it has to deal with Star Wars canon. And after the second session, I think it was, everybody took me aside and they're like, just stop worrying about it, right? If it's not perfect, whatever, right? Yeah. Let people bitch about it online. But it's really getting in the way of the flow.
Yeah.
And so once I decided it was okay if I made a mistake, right? Because we're playing, though in a very well-known universe that's very well-defined, we're doing our thing that's in there, right? Yeah. There's going to be inconsistencies that happen. And I think the thing you can always fall back on from a collaborative storytelling standpoint is the unreliable narrator, right? This is your story the way you're telling it. Someone else, who may tell that event, tells it very differently because it's from their viewpoint of what happened. Right? I mean, there's basically the fact that the whole Star Wars films are, especially the original trilogy, is all told from R2-D2's perspective. And it's like, that would be a very different story if Han's telling it.
Right. Yeah.
Right? You get very different stuff. So this is the story that your characters are telling, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's the big thing. If it's an IP you love, and you want to go play in it, and you know what, and it changes. If it's a setting that doesn't really support that in the way it approaches it, lean on lean on the narrator. If it's something like Marvel, screw it, man. There's like the multiverse, whatever.
Right?
Who cares anymore?
Just roll 3d6 or 3d10 and come up with a new world number. Like, and bam, that explains it all. Like, I think. Well, first of all, I would like to point out to everybody that J.J. Abrams made plenty of mistakes, and he still got to have his Star Wars moment, so you can too.
I don't know if that's like the best.
Star Trek moment.
I'm saying if J.J. Abrams can feel confident and free to do what J.J. Abrams
whatever
has done,
he wants,
then you can mess it up in your home game, and it's probably going to be better. Sorry, I know J.J. Abrams listens to the show and is really concerned about my criticism.
We're just lucky Dave isn't here, because then we wouldn't go home for 2 hours while he talked about everything that was wrong with the J.J. Abrams Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
He would just lose his mind, and we'd just be here forever.
And Kadave, we can sum it up for Kadave in 2 words. Lens flare. Okay, we're done. There you go, Dave. It's all for you.
Right. Yes.
Have all the lens flare in your home game.
Yeah. So, I think also, like, one of the things I like to do is play, like Bill said, like play in those spaces where the established canon doesn't go. So a lot of times, so one of my favorite places to do Star Wars is right before Order 66 or right before the Clone Wars, and there's tons of stuff. You can have multiple Jedis in the party. It's all good. It's fine. But also, like, there's, I don't know where I was going to go with that, but anyway, I think it's a legitimate way to play in an existing IP and not have adherence to canon just completely derail your fun.
Yeah, I had the same experience that Bill did when I started GMing the One Ring game.
Oh, yeah.
Those first few episodes, and you can hear it. Like 2 or 3 episodes in, I hit my stride, and I'm just like, okay, I'm comfortable now.
Yeah.
And I'm not terrified of making a mistake.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm just like, because I was so nervous about messing up like the Tolkien lore and all that stuff. And then by the end, I'm like, Celebrimbor has a gay lover.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, I just like go all in. And it's, I mean, just for reference, Tolkien never said that didn't happen.
That's right.
There is no specifics about otherwise. So find those wiggle spots.
Yeah.
And I know the email was not necessarily looking for advice, but that ended up being one of my very favorite things, is using my extensive knowledge of like Tolkien's weird notes that contradict each other constantly.
Oh, yeah.
And the stuff that he just never said.
Yeah.
And just being like, this is what it is now.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
He didn't say it's against the rules, so it's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So,
I'm wrestling with that a lot right now, getting ready for the Dune game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, there's tens of thousands of years of history there's a lot of canonical stuff in there. I have not read all the books. I don't intend to read all the books. I've read a couple of them, and I've seen all the different TV and film adaptations, but what I struggled with was like, where do I set this in the timeline? Because there's a certain point where, like, if you're happening like right before the events of the original Dune novel, which is what most of the films and TV shows are, then like that is a major upheaval of the whole universe. Mm-hmm. So like, how do you have a story before that's impactful, that doesn't completely feel useless by the knowledge that we all have that, like, in 10 years or so, it doesn't matter what our characters have done, the whole universe will have changed. But there's also a level of we're doing this for our fun, and maybe that is the case, but that doesn't mean it has to be less enjoyable. And I kind of go back to Star Wars, and like I love playing in that world right before the Clone Wars, where you can have lots of Jedi doing stuff, and you know what's going to happen in a few years, but it's still fun to explore these stories.
Yeah.
So for those questioning, I am running the Modifius Dune Adventures in the Imperium game starting in January on Monday nights here at Happy Jacks. So it is.
The Bene Gesserits foretold.
Yes. Ah, yes.
Be there someday.
Oh my God,
They
Joe.
didn't,
Yeah. But,
You know, another thing you can do that's really fun in terms of lore in set systems, right? And this can even be in systems like that were mentioned that are like TTRPG specific systems, right? Like Traveler or Eberron or whatever. Questions come up because there's a lot of Eberron lore, and I'm somewhat steeped in it now. But Keith Baker created such an incredibly rich world to play in, right? And a question came up, like in our new campaign, like a couple 3 weeks ago, where Dave's character was like, he's a mercenary, and he wanted to have this background that he served with the Goliath, and then he said, "Are there Goliaths in Eberron? Because there's some different core races, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and like in the session, I'm like, oh, that's a great question. First of all, there must be, because you served with one. Right, like it's canon because it's part of your character's backstory. So I'm quickly Googling stuff, and Keith Baker has this blog post about it where he's like, "Yes, but they're very rare." And then here's and he just presents like a bunch of different ideas. Like it's not, he's not even there. And I said, okay, so here's the thing: there's no set thing. It could be a lot of different stuff. Why are they rare, Dave? And Dave was like, oh, and we came up with a reason. He did. And I was like, great. So, yes, you did. It's the only one you've ever seen, right? You know it's a unique thing. No one here else has seen one before. They've heard of them, but you actually served with one in your mercenary unit. And like, oh, awesome, right? So now he's got this like super cool part of his background. Like, that's a good, I don't know. Let's figure it out. Let's figure out the corner cases together, right? And make it real personal. So I'm always up for doing that. I don't care how established the canon is. If someone asks me a question about Star Trek and I don't know, like we did a lot of Fast and Loose stuff in that Star Trek game you ran, Adam.
Oh yeah,
during COVID, and it was great.
All over the place. Yeah,
That's what the margins of the book are for, right?
Yeah,
in your own stuff if it fits.
Yeah. I'm currently
don't really write in books. That makes me upset. Don't do that. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm currently working on turning a lot of the my home game stuff that I've created, including the culture that I created for a D&D game that Bill ran for us. So I'm working on turning all of that into a new setting, a new fantasy setting, along the lines of like Eberron, Forgotten Realms, Daggerheart, etc. So, and I do have limitations in there. Like there's only this certain type of species, and this species is not in this game, and here's why. But I'm trying to do all of that with sidebars planned out as well to say like, hey, if you want to, like, there are no Dragonborn in this world, and here's a very important story reason why. If you have a player who wants to play a Dragonborn, or you want to put them in this world, here's some consequences of that, some things that you might be able to play with. Go ahead and do it. It's the idea behind setting books to me is like, it's to give you that sandbox and give you some of those limitations so that you're not just like, okay, everything exists in every setting. And so I enjoy having to create characters within limitations sometimes. And a lot of times in games that I run, I will give limitations. I'll say like, okay, these classes or these species do not exist because of what I want to do. If you want to do them, let me know, and let's talk. Let's figure out like how we can work that in so you can do it. But this is not something I'm playing with in my game. Okay. Yeah. And I find that actually leads a lot of people to, it sometimes helps. Like when there are too many types of cereal at the grocery store, you just end up going crazy and just picking the one that you always get. But if there's
tricks.
Yeah. But if there's only like 4 or 5 options, you can more easily digest the idea of picking something that's different from what you usually do. So I like limitations and settings and IPs. So I say if you're playing in an existing IP, whether it's intended to be a TTRPG system setting, or it's a cultural IP that you're just playing into, like it's okay. Like have some limits, have some flexibility, and have a willingness to let it go a little off the rails from what everybody expects.
Word.
I will say that's
Lots of words.
Maybe. No, I said that's maybe the most exciting thing I've heard in a while. Is that you're taking that work you did for the Strixhaven campaign for your character and making that part of a setting, because that was amazing, Adam.
Thanks.
Y'all are in for a treat if you get exposed to this, because oh my god, Adam's like, here's my character and they come from this, it's kind of an indigenous inspired background, and then here's like this like 27 pages of lore that was literally describing like the gods and the background thing. I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. And we weaved that into the campaign at one point. It was so good.
Bill took so many elements of that and like kept bringing them back in.
Nice.
Like I did that just for my own character's background. I didn't expect any of it to really come to fruition. I'm just like, I just want this to be where I came from. And then Bill's like, oh, now let's pull in that thing. And it was really special.
You
to
can't
have that
give
back.
a GM a gift like that and then not expect it to get used. My goodness.
I know, right? Yeah. It was wonderful. So thank you. And yeah, it's really inspired me to push out some more stuff, like filling out more of the world around that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Yeah. Are we spent? Are we done?
I think so.
All right. All right. Thank you for joining us for Season 36, Episode 12 of the Happy Jacks RPG Podcast. Please support Ross Payton, him of Roleplaying Public Radio, our indie designer of this month. And thank you to our chat mod, James V., who subscribed for the 100th month in a row just now, a few minutes ago. Woo! And to our amazing Patreons who keep us ad-free and independent. You can join their amazing ranks at happyjacks.org/Patreon. My name is Kimmy. You can find the games I make at goldenlassogames.com. I'm also here right now every Saturday night for this advice show. My APs have all wrapped up, so I probably won't be in any for a little while, because I'm working on finishing my Kickstarter game. Yeah. And I'm not allowed to do anything else but that and work and be a mom until that's done. Yes. Okay. Ready to go.
Hi. I'm Adam. You can find me on the socials at Hoobuk, HOOBUK, except with Twitch and some of them there's an extra O for whatever reason. But you can find me here hopefully fairly regularly. I've been trying to get more regular on the advice show because I love being here on the advice show. It's so much fun. And then you can find me on Happy Jacks on Sunday evenings at 5 p.m. Pacific in the Astral Circus, where we're ridiculous and sexy times all in one. And we're in the hells right now looking for Karlach's heart. So but yeah, and then soon starting tentatively starting January 5th, we're going to start for a Dune Adventures in the Imperium actual play that I'll be running here on Happy Jacks on Monday nights. So you'll want to check that out. And then at some point in the near future, will be I'll give you more information on the Aliens RPG project that I'm involved in with some of our friends who are in chat tonight. And it's a really cool project, and lots of different mini-series APs run together to tell a whole like overarching saga, kind of all like connected to each other but separate. Yeah, it's very cool. We're in the process of recording that now, and they'll be released over the next coming months.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm Bill, and you can find me at Bill Freakin' Roper in various places on the internet. I've got back to Blue Sky, which is super fun. I got really energized being at PAX Unplugged and getting to hang out with a bunch of content creators and people I've played with online. Got to put a face to the virtual voice in some cases.
Nice.
I play on Wednesdays, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern, just about every single Wednesday over on the Severed Studios Twitch channel. And our YouTube as well for the VOD and podcasts and all your streaming services. In our Exandria-based campaign, Few and Far Between, we ran through the Nether Deep, and our characters, we loved them so much, and there was so much stupidly cool backstory, especially in my cohorts I play with there, that we continued on. Our next session is session 145 in that campaign.
Wow,
it's
nice.
crazy. We've been playing for over 3 years now, and I think we just hit level 16. So
nice.
we've decided, like, we're doing it. We're going to 20. Let's do this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been super exciting to do. I'm looking forward to a bunch of other projects coming up in the new year now that we're getting settled here in the new house. And this week I start the real work on converting the we have a built out, like a walk-in, walk-out basement that when we bought the house, Elspeth was like, "This is yours. Go to town." So
nice.
we have dubbed it the Tavern at the End of the Universe, because I've got a bar down here and a huge space for a gaming table and my streaming space and everything. So I'm looking forward to doing a ton more stuff, because when you're really young, you have a ton of time to do those things. And then you work your ass off for a lot of years, and I am at the very beginning of the, like, hey, I'm not working as much anymore. And we live in an affordable place. And you know what? I got a bunch of time that I can start doing stuff I love doing again.
Yeah.
So hopefully that means I'll get some more time here at Happy Jack's, my first home. Even though I'm far, far away.
Yeah. And don't forget to work on the guest rooms, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a guest room. Guest room. It's ready right now.
Nice. Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know. So
bring your hubby.
All right.
Yeah.
Either one of you.
too.
And your kids, Kimmy.
Yeah. I know.
Bring the
Laurelyn eventually has to learn what snow is.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Like, we drive
We're gonna-
the 40 minutes to like the small snow by the side of the road.
Oh.
Yeah, if we don't get it here where we are, which they do sometimes, we get it, and there are like days apparently when they close the school, it snows. We are easily within an hour of like real mountains with real snow, so
That's
we're looking
amazing.
forward to it this year.
Yeah, we only get fire closures
Yeah.
for school here in LA.
Yeah.
It's fine. Anyway, today we're going to leave you with a song. We're going to leave you with this Skyboat song by the Mary Sues. And the website's down right now. When I get more time and I finish aforementioned Kickstarter game, I will put the website back up, and it will be at marysuesband.com. But right now it's not there. Don't go there yet. Okay. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to Skye. Moon was astern, room on the port, egg on the starboard bow. Glorious song glowed in my soul. Where is that glory now? Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to Skye. Give me again all that was there. Give me the sun that shone. Give me the eyes, give me the soul. Give me the love that's gone. Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky. Billow and breeze, islands and seas, mountains of rain and sun. All that was good, all that was fair, all that was me is gone. Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky, over the sea